What's up, Minecrafters? KC here, and this is episode 3 in my modWorld series, where I'm building mods and incorporating those into a new world that I have created. Over the last couple episodes, I was working on a mod that would allow me to obtain different inventory items. That seems to be working well, and so I'm going to start today's episode by using that just a little bit. Previously, I had planted these 3 trees, and they have fully grown, and I wanted to place jack-o'-lanterns in those trees to provide just a little bit of lighting at nighttime. So to do that, I would use my command that I made, which is gimme, short for give me, and I'm going to get 3 jack-o'-lanterns, and I'm also going to get a few leaves because I'm going to remove some leaves to place those jack-o'-lanterns. So I should have those in my inventory now, and I do. And I'm just going to come around to the back side of these trees, and I'm going to remove those leaves, and then remove this one wood block, place my jack-o'-lantern, and then replace those leaves. And then do the same thing here in these other trees. And again, this will just provide a little bit of lighting during the nighttime. So I think that will work out well. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I want to create a new item, something that doesn't exist in Minecraft Pocket Edition. It's going to be, for me, like a magic wand or a magic staff or something like that. So now I have these completed. I'm going to switch back over to my code editor and begin working on that. So back in my code editor, first thing I'm going to do is to add a new variable. And this variable is going to represent the item ID for my new, let's call it a magic staff. I think I will call that magic staff ID. And I'm going to set that to value 470. That's an unused value, at least currently in this version of Minecraft. So once I create and define my magic staff item, I will be able to go back into my world, and using the gimme command that I created, I should be able to craft one of those magic staffs and then place it in my inventory. So to define the new item, I'm going to be calling a function that's part of modPE, and that function is called setItem. And setItem accepts 4 parameters. The first parameter is going to be the item ID, which is, for me, is going to be magic staff ID, which again I've defined as 470. The next 2 are related to the texture or the graphic associated with this new item. And that, for me, is going to be a blaze rod, which again, in the current version of Pocket Edition is not an obtainable item. And then that (0) just further defines the image that you're using. And if you want to find a list of those, you can go online and search for, I think, something like modPE template names or something like that. You should be able to find that pretty easily online. That's where I found them. And then finally, we need to give this item a name. And this name will appear when you select the item in your inventory, and the little text comes up just above your inventory bar where it displays the name of the item. For me, that would display the words magic staff. So this should be enough for me to obtain the item. The item won't do anything special, but I expect it to look like a blaze rod and have a name of magic staff and be identified by item ID 470. So I'm going to save my changes here, and then I'm going to change back over to Block Launcher and Minecraft. So I'm back in Block Launcher, and I need to load that script. And again, I've just been saving these in my download folder. So the script loads, which is a good sign. It means that there were no errors importing that script. And if I go back into my modWorld, I should be able to now use my gimme command and request one blaze rod magic staff, which is, again, I defined as item 470. So I do have that now in my inventory, and I may just replace the feathers there. So again, this is the new item that I've defined. At this point, it really doesn't do anything special, but moving forward, I may add additional functions to my mod script that I use through my magic rod. So one of the things that I might like to do that should be a fairly simple enhancement to make would be to make an easy way to destroy a tree and gather the wood blocks that drop from that. And so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to close out of this. And I might as well go ahead and remove that script while I'm here because I will need to reload it. And I'm going to change back over again to my code editor. Okay, so I'm back in my code editor here, and I need to define a new function. And again, this is a function that is supported through the modPE scripting functionality, and it's called useItem. And the parameters or arguments to useItem are the x, the y, and the z coordinates of the block that you have either tapped with your carried item or that you're using your carried item against. Also, it receives a parameter item ID, which is the item that you're using. So for example, for me that may be my new magic staff. And then it also accepts as a parameter the block ID, which is the block that I would be tapping with my magic staff. And then as a further parameter, it accepts the side. So what side of the block did I tap? For example, the top, the bottom, north, south, east, west. So you can not only know what you were holding, which item you were using, what you tapped, and then finally what side of that block that you tapped. And that's all, again, parameters to the useItem function. So inside of useItem, the first thing that I will want to check is to see if the item ID is equal to my magic staff ID, which again I defined as value 470. So if the item that was used is my magic staff, and let's say the block ID is a wood block, which I believe is block ID. Well, I'll just have a quick look for that here. I'm going to look that up online quickly. Again, you can search for these block IDs online. And so just looking at that web page on my computer, that would be block ID, let's see, for wood, would be block ID 17. So if I tap a block ID 17 with my magic staff, then I want to do something. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to call another function that is, again, part of modPE called prevent default. And what that really does is after this useItem code executes, it would prevent Minecraft from doing what it would normally do when you tap a certain block with a certain item. So I'm going to use that here, and not in all cases would you want to do that, but if I tap wood with my magic staff, I just want my function to execute, and I don't want Minecraft to do what it may normally do. And so anyway, I think what I'll do is I'll create a new function called doDestroyTree. And I'm going to pass into that the x, the y, and the z coordinates. So I'll know which block that I tapped. And then I'm going to go back up to my top portion here where I've been defining my do functions, and I'm going to create that function do destroy tree. Again, that is going to accept the x, y, and z coordinates of the block that was tapped. So inside this function, what I want to first do is, once I get to this point, I know that I have tapped a wood block with my magic staff. So what I really want to do is to be able to destroy all of those wood blocks, maybe from the ground up to the top of the tree. So the first thing that I'll probably want to do is to define a new variable, and let's call that bottom, and I'm going to initialize that to the y value. Of those coordinates x, y, and z, y represents the vertical blocks. And so really I'm just grabbing the block that was clicked, sort of its y, or its height, if you will, coordinate, its vertical coordinate. And so that becomes my starting point. Now, I may click on the second or third block up in a tree, and so really what I should do first is try to find the bottom of the tree, and then begin destroying blocks from the bottom of the tree to the top of the tree. So to do that, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to call a function called level.getTile. And that accepts as parameters the x coordinate, the y coordinate, and the z coordinate. And so I know that currently bottom represents a block of wood, because it had to have represented a block of wood before we get into the destroy tree. So the first thing that I want to begin testing for here is the block below the one that I clicked also a wood block. And so I'm checking the sort of height -1 or the y -1 value. And what that get tile does is it returns to you the block ID of the coordinates that you ask for. And so I'm going to get that tile, get its block ID, and I'm going to return that into this variable called BID. And then I'm going to go into a while loop. So while BID is 17, which again I know is the block ID for a wood block, I want to keep searching down towards the ground, if you will, checking those vertical coordinates to see if that's still a wood block. And at some point I want to stop. Let's say I hit dirt at some point. So if I had clicked on the third block of a tree, then I would count down sort of the blocks below that until I stop finding wood blocks, because then I may again hit that dirt block. So I'm going to decrease or decrement my bottom value, because I know that what I asked for, that I first assigned to BID, the getTile function, returned me a 17 because I'm in this while loop, and then I want to re-get that value. So as long as I stay inside that while loop, I'm decrementing that bottom value, sort of going down vertically through the tree. But I will escape from that loop as soon as I hit a block other than block ID 17. So what I want to do at this point then is I want to begin destroying the tree wood blocks basically from the bottom up. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to just re-get that tile. Using the bottom value that I found. And I just noticed something here as I was reading over my code, had a little typo there. That should be level.getTile. And then basically I'm going to go into another while loop. So again, while that level.getTile continues to return to me a block ID of 17, which is a tree, I'm going to call a function called level.destroyBlock. and I'm going to pass in the coordinates x, bottom, and z. And then the final parameter to the level.destroy block function is whether or not you want that block to perform a drop, meaning when the wood block is destroyed, do you want it to drop one of the small wood blocks that you could pick up inside of your inventory? And so really what I've done to this point is I've destroyed the very bottom block of the tree. No matter which block I click on, whether it's the third, fourth, no matter how high I click up inside the tree, as long as that's a wood block, I find the bottom block and then I begin destroying it from the bottom up. And so I have my first destroy, which would destroy the bottom of the tree. And then basically I just want to keep working up the tree until I'm no longer dealing with those wood blocks. So I need to increment my bottom counter, which means, again, I'm moving up in the tree. And then I need to do the level.getTile again. And at some point, once you begin working up the tree, you're going to get to the top where you no longer have a wood block, and that could be leaves or something like that. So once we exit from this while loop, we should have destroyed every wood block that was the vertical portion of that tree. So I think this function is complete. I'll just have a quick glance at it. Make sure I don't see any obvious syntax or logic errors with it. I don't see any at this point. Actually, I do. I'm going to make one correction here. That should be level.getTile. Just looking at the others, level.destroy block, this seems correct, and then another level.getTile. So I don't see any more errors with this, so I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to change back over to my Minecraft. So here, I'm back at the Minecraft block launcher screen, and I need to load that script now that I've made changes to it. So the loading of that gave me a syntax error. So that's something that I'm going to need to go look at. I can see the general area of my script where I have a problem. It's in that do destroy tree. And just looking at that, it looks like I maybe spelled destroy wrong. It's destory tree instead of destroy. So I'm going to go make a quick correction for that. And then I will come back and we'll see if that loads again. Okay, I made the corrections. There were actually a couple things I needed to fix there, but I've re-imported my script now and it imported successfully. So at least I have fixed those errors that were keeping it from importing. So the next thing I will do will be to go into my world and check to see if that new function that I have created actually works properly. So I will probably need to grow a tree. I thought that I had some saplings, but I do not, so I should be able to obtain some of those in my inventory by using my gimme command. And maybe I'll get a few of those. I will get 10 saplings, which is item or block ID 6. So I have those in my inventory now, but I'm also probably going to want some bone meal. And so I will go ahead and get the create some bones and then some bone meal using my crafting table. And I'll get a few of those as well. And bones are item ID 352. So I now should have those two things in my inventory. And I'll just quickly create some bone meal here. And now I should be able to, working in this area over here, I might grow a couple of trees. So I have a shorter tree here, and I'll just grow a second one. That's again another short tree. Maybe I'll just grow one more. I'd like to get a little bit taller tree. That one ended up being a little bit shorter as well. So from what I've seen in Minecraft, there are 3 different heights of oak trees. You can see all of those over there. The leaves start 2 blocks off the ground. There's actually one that starts a little bit higher, maybe at the 3rd or 4th block. These all started really low to the ground, but that's fine. But what I should be able to do now is to use my blaze rod and tap on that wood block there at the bottom and see if it destroys all of the wood blocks. And it did. So you can see here that it destroyed all the wood blocks from the bottom of the tree up to the top, and it dropped those wood blocks so I can easily pick those up. And so I should be able to do that over here as well. But instead of maybe tapping the bottom block, I'm going to tap a block a little bit further up in the tree, because again, part of that function was to search for the bottom of the tree and then work up the tree. So if I click the 3rd block there, that has caused a slight little graphical glitch, but it did work properly. And then I will just test again on this final tree here, but I'm pretty sure that that function is working the way that it should. And I'll just tap the bottom block again and then pick up those dropped items. So my destroy tree function seems to be working properly. Eventually these leaves will drop and I will collect any saplings that drop from it. But you can see in my inventory that I have picked up a few of those blocks. So just sort of to recap what we've done in this episode, we defined what I'm going to be using as my magic staff, which again has an image of a blaze rod. I can obtain that through my gimme command using item ID 470. And now I have also implemented a function for my magic staff that allows me to easily obtain wood from grown trees. So I think I will end this episode here, and then we'll pick up in episode 4. Thanks for watching. I enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did too. Thank you.